Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ads Academy by Helium 10. My name is Bradley Sutton. I'm joined by
Destiny Washon.
Now we're going to get into software versus the Amazon ad console. You know, we've actually shown you guys some samples of doing things in the ad console within Seller Central. We've shown how things look inside Helium 10. We've also shown you how to do things inside of Helium 10 ads. So the question that people might have is there one that's better than the other? Is there a certain situation that makes one better than the other? In general, let's just forget about Helium 10 ads, but you know, there's many different software out there. Is there a scenario where somebody, even from day one, they're a brand new seller, could and should be using software? Or would you say that, hey, if you're brand new, you pretty much only need to use Seller Central?
This is one of those areas where it's so dependent, but software does come with quite a few advantages, especially I would say more recently. I think when you're a new seller and you don't quite understand maybe keyword research or bid automation, that is where software can really make a big difference. Because bid automation is relatively difficult within Ad Console. You have to typically go to your targeting tab, you have to figure out your frequency, your look-back window, your optimization thresholds. That can be a lot to take on. If you're using a software, we're able to break it down in a way that allows you to decide on your outcome. Do you want to maximize sales? Do you want to maximize profitability? Do you want to hit certain ROAS targets? And we're going to build the model that's going to optimize your bids appropriately. For Helium 10 specifically, I think it's also advantageous that a lot of the keyword research we're doing is already within the tool, and we can roll that directly into Helium 10 ads to make sure we're integrating the appropriate keywords to target that's going to lift our total business.
Yeah, I agree. Now, there are some things, very few, that you can only do using software. Like, for example, there's a marketing stream allows softwares to show you things at the hourly level. So you can do what's called day parting. We might talk about that in a later module. Basically, that means you can be able to like turn on and off targets and campaigns based on times of the day where it's more or less profitable for you. Like you can only do that with software. But for the most part, almost everything that you could do with software, you theoretically could do without software. But here's the difference. Like, for example, my full-time job is here at Helium 10. You know, I wish I only worked 40 hours a week. I work more than 40 hours a week because I love what I do. But I also run multiple Amazon accounts. And on these accounts, I manage over 250 campaigns. If I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, how much time do you think I have to manage my Amazon accounts? They still require time. Amazon advertising can be a very time-consuming task if you're doing it on your own. There is absolutely no way that if I was running things manually, like with spreadsheets and things like that, that I could even do 50 campaigns, let alone 250 campaigns in the 15, 20 minutes it takes me now. And that's because I'm not an Excel whiz. And if you're in Seller Central and Ad Console, and you've got a lot of campaigns, we're talking downloading hundreds of different search term reports over different periods of time, and then knowing how to put it together with pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and all these fancy things I never learned even in my Microsoft certification that I kind of like cheated my way through, but we're not gonna go there. But anyways, like that, to me, that's one of the biggest advantages is the time saving.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if I'm sitting in your position, I'd break it down into three things. The first thing to ask yourself is, do I have the education level to do this myself? Do you have the time to go learn it? If you can learn everything about bid automation and keyword research on your own, sure, go run with an Ad Console. If you do not have that time, I'd probably utilize the software. The second thing to ask yourself is, okay, I have the education, I have my fundamental understanding. Do I have the operational time to do it? So that's where Bradley's saying operational efficiency is one of the biggest advantages of Amazon advertising software solutions. If you don't have time to be hands-on keyboard at least 5 to 10 hours a week, doing all of the pivot table work, then that's when, again, software is your best bet. If you have both of those figured out, then the third thing, and this is where it's a big opportunity for my larger brands, larger sellers, is the majority of software does have advancements that Ad Console does not have. Whether it is the Amazon marketing stream that gives you, hourly reporting, whether it's market share and share voice insights, which we now have, due to Search Query Performance Report and some of the other advantageous opportunities. If you're looking for that cutting edge advancement, that's another area where software is potentially better than Ad Console. So in any factor, if you fall into one of those buckets, you should be able to make a pretty clear decision on what's best for you.
Let's say you choose to go the software route. There's also different ways to use software. Like, for example, me, I am a control freak. So I don't have automations running in mind. Like I set my rules, and the rule kind of like checking for if my rules are implemented is kind of an automatic process. But however, Helium 10 Ads is not making any changes at all unless I approve it. Again, me, I'm a control freak. So there's that level of person where you could kind of control your own destiny, and you get, no pun intended, but you want to just go ahead and kind of like manage all your rules and if they get implemented or not. Another way is to set up all those rules, but then automate it, where the rules just take care of themselves. And then a third way that's available with different softwares, including Helium 10 Ads, is a full AI automation, where you just go in and you put like an ACoS goal or a ROAS goal, and you put in which product you're targeting, maybe a couple of keywords that you want to start with. And the AI does everything from creating the campaigns, managing it, bid optimization. And for some of you that really don't have a lot of time, or maybe you're have struggled on your own with advertising, that might be the route to go. So there's really a lot of options for people out there.
Absolutely. And kind of going back to our initial point that we've reiterated throughout this course is there's no one size fits all solution. Some people will come on and tell you, hey, the best way to do it is 100% manual. Yeah, it may be the best for someone who has the time and the expertise to do that. Go do it. That's incredible, because you're going to be able to align your campaigns and your optimizations to your specific goals. Not a lot of people have that. On the flip side, let's take AI automation. Some people come on and say, look, AI is the best thing I've ever used. Fantastic. But when you're starting to run AI automation, you may lose some of the reactivity that you need to control. So like Bradley said, he likes to be able to control every decision because he's closest to his product. He knows his seasonality. He knows Halloween is up and coming. Maybe I need to make proactive adjustments that AI wouldn't intuitively understand. So all of that to say, all three can be fantastic for you depending on the stage of business, depending on your level of expertise, which is why we want to do this style of video and education, so you can, again, figure out what's best for you.
Another thing that I think we should talk about is kind of like a third option, and that's hiring somebody like Destiny or an agency. Yeah. Now, my personal opinion is if somebody has never gotten into advertising, they don't understand it, maybe all they've done is taken this course or not even, and they're a brand new seller, I would almost 10 times out of 10 say, don't go with the agency, don't go with a consultant.
Yep.
And again, I'm not trying to take business away from Destiny. I'm sure she would probably tell people the same. And why is that?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest reason is if you are not able to communicate your goals to the appropriate person because you do not understand, then they're not going to know how to achieve your goals. I mean, the number one thing I get as an agency on the first call for the majority of sellers is, I want to increase sales and lower my ACoS. I'm like, everybody wants to do that. So let's unpack that. Are you launching a new product? Are you focusing on a potential exit? Need to focus on EBITDA? Like, there's so many different variables. You have to be able to communicate those expectations, but then also trust that your agency is going to execute on those. If you do not know the appropriate parameters or KPIs to look at in terms of ad console, then it's really easy to be taken advantage of in the space. Like, I know that's a sensitive topic, but as an agency owner, I'll say it, like, if you do not know how to communicate, not every agency is going to be as maybe transparent as what I would say mine is. So it's a good area for you to learn enough to be able to communicate and work directly with an agency.
Yeah, not just advertising. This goes to any aspect of your business, guys. If you don't understand at least, the basics or have done it yourself, how in the world would you know if who you're hiring is doing a good job or a bad job? Like what basis, they could just give you some report and say, hey, yeah, we've increased your profitability, but how would you be able to look through the BS if that's, the case? And so it's important to at least understand how things work and probably have done it yourself. And then, hey, later on down the road, you now need to scale and you don't have the capacity to maybe hire in-house. Yeah, absolutely. Go with an agency. There's agencies who use, Helium 10 Ads amongst other softwares out there. And that absolutely would be the way to go. Agencies also have access to certain things that you can't do on your own, like DSP that we've talked about. You could do DSP on your own, but what is it, $40,000 or or something you have to spend a month?
Yeah, it's a high threshold, and it's a lot more complicated, which is typically where agency expertise comes into play. And if there's anything that you learn from this section, it's, again, there's a million different ways to be successful. And I think a good combination of anything is tech and automations. That's going to give you operational efficiency, but also a level of human strategy, which is, again, that's like our competitive advantage as an agency is we lean into both. And whether it's you working with someone else or having an in-house person who understands how to be ahead of the curve and how to lead with strategy while also using software to make you more efficient, I think that's the win-win.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into the next module. We're going to kind of like show some side by side and show you some contrasts on if you're doing something in the ads console versus using software. And again, remember, the moral of the story is there's not just one way to have success or one right way. The right way is the way that's going to work for you. So let's go ahead and look into those different ways right now.